An M5.2 earthquake just killed 2 people in southern China. The magnitude was moderate. The consequences were not. At 12:21 AM Beijing Time, on Monday, May 18th, 2026, the China Earthquake Network Center recorded a magnitude 5.2 earthquake in Liunan District, Liuzhou City, Guangxi Zhuang Autonomous Region. The epicenter sat in Taiyangcun Town, 16 kilometers from downtown Liuzhou. The depth was approximately 8 kilometers. Shaking was felt across 7 cities, including Guilin, Nanning, and Hechi. 2 are confirmed dead. A married couple ages 63 and 53, 4 are hospitalized. 13 buildings have collapsed. More than 7,000 residents have been moved to safer locations. National and regional emergency responses activated by 2 a.m. At 11:10 a.m., nearly 11 hours after the rupture, the last trapped resident was pulled from the rubble alive, a 91-year-old man. But here is the detail that tells the real story. International coverage will register the May 18th event as M5.2 earthquake kills 2 in southern China. That phrasing matches the bulletin. It leaves out why. What is almost nowhere reported is that an M5.2 earthquake should not kill anyone. The United States Geological Survey records hundreds of earthquakes between magnitudes 5.0 and 5.5 every year. The vast majority kill no one. They strike rural areas. They occur in deep crust. They hit modern engineered structures. They happen at sea the world barely notices. This one killed because of where it struck, when it struck, and what it struck. The question is what it means when an earthquake at the lower end of the destructive scale produces this much damage in a region that almost never makes seismic headlines. This is what happened in Taiyangcun on Monday morning. The Hong Kong Observatory described the shake, even at distance, as tremors lasting a few seconds. Near the epicenter, that translated into a sharp, violent jolt. Sleeping residents woke to walls cracking around them. The first to fail were the self-built houses. Self-built, jiàn, refers to homes constructed by their owners outside the engineered code system. The street-front houses in Taiyangcun went first. By 4 a.m., the count of collapsed buildings had been verified at 13. By morning, more than 7,000 residents had been moved to safer locations. Public services held, communications, electricity, water, gas, and road transport stayed operational. The damage was concentrated. By 8:14 a.m., 2 trapped people had been pulled out alive. 2 deaths had been confirmed. At 11:10 a.m., the last trapped resident was extracted. The 91-year-old man pulled from the rubble in Taiyangcun community. This is what almost nobody outside seismology actually understands about moderate earthquakes. An M5.2 is moderate. Most M5 class events strike rural areas, deep crust, engineered buildings, or the sea. The M5.2 that struck Liunan District at 12:21 a.m. did none of those things. The outcome was determined by 7 variables that aligned against the population at the same time. First, the DEPE, 8 kilometers per CENC, the Hong Kong Observatory estimated approximately 10. Shallow earthquakes concentrate their energy at the surface rather than dissipating it through the crust. The same magnitude at 30 kilometers depth produces a fraction of the surface shaking that an 8-kilometer event delivers. Second, the geology. Guangxi is karst country. Steep limestone formations, river valleys, sinkholes, and fractured rock columns. Karst can amplify ground motion in localized pockets where layered or hollowed rock resonates with the seismic wavelength. The same geology that produces the photogenic peaks of Guilin produces the shaking pockets that collapsed houses in Taiyangcun. Third, the building stock. Brick walls, unreinforced concrete, no shear walls, no floor-to-structure ties. The failure pattern put debris on top of the people inside. Fourth, the timing. 12:21 a.m., residents asleep. The seconds in which a conscious person can move toward a doorway or duck under a desk were spent unconscious. Fifth, the population density. Liunan District is part of Liuzhou, a city of more than 4 million. The epicenter at Taiyangcun sat 16 kilometers from downtown, close enough that the shaking reached the urban population, far enough that local building stock was rural township grade. Sixth, the landslide exposure. Karst slopes can fail under moderate shaking. Roads through narrow valleys become impassable. Rescue teams face the same hazards the residents do. Seventh, the response latency that comes with nighttime disasters. Fire and rescue teams mobilize through the dark and the disorientation of residents in the street. This is the region that almost never makes seismic headlines. Guangxi Zhuang Autonomous Region sits on the southern coast of China, bordering Vietnam. Population over 50 million. The international image is karst mountains, the limestone peaks around Guilin and Yangshuo, river cruises down the Li, ethnic minority cultural tourism. None of it earthquake country. The seismic record agrees. China's most destructive earthquakes have struck Sichuan, Yunnan, Qinghai, and Tibet, the western provinces where the Indian plate slams into the Asian continent. The 2008 Wenchuan earthquake in Sichuan, magnitude 7.9, killed nearly 70,000 people. Guangxi sits hundreds of kilometers from that collision zone. The tectonic environment is different. Faults are smaller. Strain accumulates slower. Major earthquakes are rare to non-existent. But moderate earthquakes happen. Liuzhou sits within a zone of slow strain accumulation where magnitude 4 to magnitude 5 events occur periodically, almost always too small or too remote to register internationally. The May 18th event broke that pattern because the rupture happened directly beneath a populated district at shallow depth. The China Earthquake Administration runs a national seismic monitoring network. The Guangxi Earthquake Administration runs the regional component. Both were on the May 18th event within minutes. The monitoring infrastructure existed because moderate quakes here are not unknown. They are usually invisible. The May 18th event was the one that wasn't. To understand what kind of event this was, look at how long the rescue took. Total elapsed time from rupture to final rescue: 10 hours and 49 minutes. That timing is not a failure. It is the signature of a working, moderate quake response. The Chinese disaster response system uses 4 tiers, with level 1 the highest. The May 18th quake activated level 3 at the regional level and level 4 at the national level. Significant, but not catastrophic. The deployed equipment list reads like a textbook seismic disaster response. Life detectors, search and rescue dogs, drones, heavy machinery, 51 vehicles, 315 personnel. The 91-year-old's rescue is the human-scale anchor, 11 hours under rubble. Located, freed, transported, stabilized. The 2 who did not survive, the married couple, ages 63 and 53, did not get that chance. The shaking found them first. And the response is still going. The aftershock monitoring is active. The damage assessment teams are verifying collapsed structures. The rail inspections across Liuzhou are ongoing. The families of the dead are still standing in the street where the houses used to be. The question is not whether an M5.2 earthquake can kill. It can. 2 people are confirmed dead in Liuzhou. The question is not whether this was a Sichuan-scale disaster. It was not. The 2008 Wenchuan earthquake killed nearly 70,000 people. The May 18th event killed 2. Guangxi is not Sichuan. The question is what it means when an earthquake at the lower end of the destructive scale, magnitude 5.2, shallow depth, collapses 13 buildings, evacuates 7,000 residents, and requires 11 hours of rescue effort to pull out the last trapped survivor. Moderate magnitude can be deadly. The deciding factor is not the size of the wave. The deciding factor is the shape of the ground it lands on and the strength of the buildings on top. At 12:21 a.m. on May 18, 2026, an M5.2 earthquake struck Liunan District. The depth was 8 kilometers. The buildings were self-built. The timing was the dead of night. 2 died. 4 hospitalized, 7,000 evacuated. A 91-year-old man waited 11 hours. The rescue teams found him. The next moderate earthquake has not been scheduled. The Karst Mountains are still standing. If this story is worth telling, subscribe. We cover more of these every week.